Dear students, in the previous classes, we have studied about the risk. We studied what is a risk, then all the other concepts relating to the risk, different types of the risks, peril, hazard, all those informations we have studied, and all those concepts were from the third chapter. Today, I am going to the sixth chapter because some of the topics that are related to the risk are put in the sixth unit in your syllabus, and that is risk management. So, regarding risk management, what we are going to study is the concept of risk management. What is the risk management? What are the objectives? What are the benefits? That we'll be learning today. And in the coming days, we'll be learning the process of risk management, tools of risk management, and risk management in the corporate sector and risk management in the individual sector. These many topics we have to cover regarding the risk. There we'll be finishing with the risk. Then afterwards we'll be moving towards the disaster management. Therefore, this much information you keep in mind, that risk and risk management. So one of the technique in the risk management what we are using is insurance. That's why we are connecting. That's why we are studying first risk. So in the risk management, one of the aspect is insurance, that will be coming to know in these days when we are studying the tools of risk management. Let's move with what is risk management. So in the word risk management, we have two words. They are, one is risk, another is management. If you divide just this risk management, so there are two words. One is risk, another is management. I have put in a just form that together becomes risk management. And now we have studied what is risk, and we know what is management. Management is planning, organizing, staffing, controlling, and directing. So all these aspects that is done regarding the risk management, planning the risk, organizing the risk, all those things, something to do with managing the risk is called risk management. So it is concerned with risk, one thing, first risk management, and secondly it is a process or function that involves managing those risks, whatever risks are there, how you can manage. So that is called risk management. I hope you understand with this. So let's see the deeper meanings of a risk management. What was the traditional and now what we understand as a risk management. So risk management is a process that identifies loss exposures faced by an organization and selects the most appropriate techniques for treating such exposures. Once again I'll read, just follow. Risk management is a process that identifies loss exposures faced by an organization and selects the most appropriate techniques for treating such exposures. See, it is first identifies what are things will be are facing the losses, exposed to the losses. Loss exposures are identified first. Then how can be they brought their reduction of loss could be done, which techniques could be used. That's called risk management. Because the term risk is ambiguous and has different meanings, so risk managers typically use the term loss exposure. So here you must know that for the risk means what the items are faced for the risk or exposed for the risks. So a loss exposure is any situation or circumstance in which a loss is possible regardless of whether a loss actually occurs. So loss exposure means in which all cases loss may happen, such things. So in the past, the risk managers generally consider only pure loss exposures faced by the firm. Only pure loss exposures. And you know, pure loss exposure. What are the different types of pure losses we have studied in the previous classes. So when we were studying the different types of the risks, we have studied the pure risks. There we know that property risk, liability risk done by the others. So all those things are of the pure risk, and only those things were considered as the loss exposures. But today's understanding is something different and something in detail. See, risk management is a scientific approach to dealing with the risks by anticipating possible losses. It's a scientific approach to dealing with the risks by anticipating possible losses. What losses can happen? So you are sitting ahead and planning, thinking. So now I have purchased a vehicle. So what losses may happen? Oh, vehicle may get damaged. Therefore, I should accidents. therefore I should have a insurance. You see, this is one of the technique. Okay. And designing and implementing procedures that minimize the occurrence of loss or the financial impact of the losses that do occur. So it is just the thing is minimizing as much as possible losses that may occur to your property or to your business, to your company, whichever matter or whichever aspects may be, reducing the loss as much as possible. That's what the interest and intention is of the risk management. So I hope you understand the definition of the not definition as such, but a clear what you call information regarding or the clear cut meaning. Therefore if you study this, you will understand what is risk management. So let's move with the objectives of risk management. When we are studying why we have to have a risk management, so objective itself become what you call importance of the risk management. So why means for this reason. Therefore, what you call importance scope you can write this only. So here we have objectives are categorized into two groups. So objectives of risk management are categorized into two groups. So which are the two groups? One is pre-loss objectives and second is post-loss objectives. So objectives of the risk management categorized into two. One is pre-loss. Pre-loss means you have not incurred the loss, but you know that something happened, some danger is there, some risks are there, so that you are planning ahead and bringing down the such losses. Now you think that when you are constructing a building, so you are aware that there may because of the lot of electrical implements and appliances, possibility of a short circuit and this one breaking out of the fire. Therefore fire safety instruments you install well in advance itself. Okay, you yourself are not interested actually, but it's a government itself stresses that you should have a fire and a safety install. So see, when you are building a house, simple matter. So in the house you can have a simple door outside, but usually you see every house outside door is very strong. Why? Because thieves may rob and robbery may take place. So you have made it very strong. That is a pre-loss. Before itself you are aware. Then post-loss means after the loss, what all things in the risk management, how you can manage the risk. So before occurring the risk itself, loss occurring itself, how you can manage the risk, and after loss occurs, how we can manage the risk. Those are the main objectives. Okay. So pre-loss objectives may be of three categories. They are: one is economy, so reduction of anxiety and meeting legal obligations. So some legal, as I was said, fire safety instruments. So that has to be installed in every education, every institutions for the buildings. So it is a compulsory that you have to implement. Okay, little explanation on these objectives we will say. So the first objective is economy. So the first objective means that the firm should prepare for potential losses in the most economical way. So you don't spend too much for protecting your this one, what you call protecting your property or anything. So okay, something you see protection aspect, but it should be economical. Don't spend too much. Okay. This preparation involves an analysis of the cost of safety programs. So whatever safety programs you are installing, or insurance premiums paid, how much insurance you are going to have. So too much insurance if you are paying, and it's a kind of waste, and the costs associated with the different techniques for handling the losses. So whatever losses that takes place, what cost that you are incurring to handle that. So all those things. But what one aspect is, be economical. Whatever may be the thing we are following, before well in advance to bring down the losses. Don't spend too much, but have a policy of economical following. That's what the economy one. Second one is reduction of anxiety. So you have to bring down your anxiety. Sometimes you are having a high anxiety, and to bring down your anxieties, have some what you call programs. So certain loss exposures can cause greater worry and fear for the risk manager and key executives. So there are some worries. Now one example I have given: the threat of a catastrophic lawsuit because of a defective product can cause greater anxiety than a small loss from a minor fire. Now take example in the fire, this one what you call automobile industry. You have produced so many cars and one car has come out as a defective, and it will be a very what you call bad name for your company. Even if the fire broke out there, it would have been a big issue now, but one defective item has gone to the market and that will spoil your name. So that anxiety is there, bringing up huge losses. Therefore, to avoid that anxiety, so you should have some instrument. Now, okay, before sending out all the cars to the market, you be clear that some careful checking has to be done. So such procedures you follow it. Then another pre-loss objective is to meet any legal obligations. See, the government has put up that some legal obligations and that has to be followed. So, for example, government regulations may require a firm to install safety devices to protect workers from harm, to dispose hazardous waste materials properly, and to label consumer products appropriately. Workers' compensation benefits must also be paid to injured workers. The firm must see that these legal obligations are met. See, whenever you do any kind of the business, there are legal obligations, and that has to be seen very properly. Then only your loss could be brought down. Now, you take example, you are having a two-wheeler, and for the two-wheeler, now you have to have a emission test once in 6 months. So now you have not done the emission test. That means it is when you in such a period, if your vehicle meets with an accident, then you will not get any compensation because you have not fulfilled the legal obligations that you have to keep in mind. Therefore, all the legal obligation has to be fulfilled. So I hope you have understood now these pre-loss objectives. Let's move to the post-loss objectives. So there are many post-loss objectives. Survival of the firm. So once the loss happened, what you have to think is, how can I survive my business? Then continued operations. Yes, how can I continue my operations? That is stability of earnings. Okay, because of loss now I have to maintain my earnings. It should not come down. Then continued growth. Yes, we have to think of the growth. Then social responsibility. Yes, I have done harm to the society. If at all anything happened, then how I can repay that. All these aspects are looked after, and such is called post loss objectives after the occurrence of the incident or the loss. We'll say a little explanation of these one after the another. So the most important post loss objective is the survival of the firm. So survival means that after a loss occurs, the firm can resume at least partial operations within some reasonable time period. So what happens is, whenever the loss takes place, you are stuck there sometimes. So okay, sometimes it is, if it is a small amount, then it is doesn't small loss, not a big problem. But for a small organization, if it is a big loss occurs, then it is a big shock. So coming out of that and thinking of the survival is a great time. Sometimes because of some losses, you have to close down the business, and there are some many more incidences might have happened. Okay, the second post loss objective is to continue operating. So for some firms, the ability to operate after a loss is extremely important. So for example, a public utility firm must continue to provide service. Banks, bank arrears, and other competitive firms must continue to operate after a loss. Otherwise, business will be lost to competitors. So what happens is, sometimes if you are incurring, a bank undergoes a bankruptcy. Okay, sometimes it may happen, but still in such conditions it should try to operate. Rather, if it is instead of operating, it is closes down, then automatically your customers will go to the other organizations. And the best example is a bank. You remember that ICICI Bank, in one period it was announced that what you call it is under a loss, but ICICI Bank continued operating, and because of that it has survived. Otherwise it wouldn't have survived today, because if it had because to recover, if it would have kept closed for 1 month 2 months, then automatically all the customers you would have turned to the other banks, and it has to come to the end. Therefore, operating is one of the continue operating is one of the important aspect. So one is thinking of the survival and continuing operating. The third post loss objective is stability of earnings. So you need to get back to the stable status. So earnings per share can be maintained if the firm continues to operate. However, a firm may incur substantial additional expenses to achieve this goal, such as operating at another location, and perfect stability of earnings may be difficult to attain. So sometimes what happens is because of loss, so for some period, sustainable earnings is not possible. So stability to get back, it takes time, but it is a objective of the risk manager. Then the fourth one is objective is to continue the growth. So growth has to be given a concentration. A company can grow by developing new products and markets, or by acquiring or merging with other companies. The risk manager must therefore consider the effect that a loss will have on the firm's ability to grow. Now, for example, what you call, in one business you have lost, don't stop there. Think of diversification, or some other what you call strategies you implement there. Automatically you can grow. Otherwise, it has to be closed down. The last is the objective of social responsibility is to minimize the effects that a loss will have on other cause considerable economic distress in the town persons or on the society. See, your damage or your loss, your operation may incur a huge loss on the town persons and society. A severe loss can adversely affect employees, suppliers, customers, creditors, and the community in general. For example, a severe loss that shuts down a plant in a small town for an extended period. So, extended period have a can have impact on the person's society, employees. So here just I have stopped continuation. So there is a continuing sentence. Whatever that you do it now you see, now due to the pandemic, now shops are closed down, and shops are closed down, many people have lost the jobs. It has an impact on the society at a larger. So to bring down the cost of the society is a social responsibility of every organization. So it's another objective to bring down the loss. I hope you understand pre-loss and post-loss objectives of the risk management, why you should manage the risk. So now we'll move with the some of the benefits of the risk management. Okay, there are a lot of number of benefits, but just in brief I would like to give you or share some information about the risk management. A formal risk management program enables a firm to attain its pre-loss and post-loss objectives more easily. So if there is a formal risk management program, if you are conducting, then it automatically aids to what you call attain pre-loss and post-loss objectives. Then the cost of risk is reduced, which may increase the company's profits. If you are reducing the risk, then automatically profit share of the profits increases. The cost of risk is a risk management tool that measures certain costs. These costs include premiums paid, retained losses, loss control expenditures, outside risk management services, financial guarantees, internal administrative costs, and taxes. So, fees and other relevant expenses. All these expenses are incurred to bring down your risks. Society also benefits since both direct and indirect losses are reduced. As a result, pain and suffering are reduced. See, whenever you are thinking of reducing the risk of your factory or company, so automatically risk of the others also will come down. So now you see, in the factory, your workers are working and you have implemented all the safety measures, then automatically your employees are safe. Otherwise, there is a risk to your employees too. So this is beneficial to the society also. So these are the benefits of the risk management. So I hope now you have understood about basic concepts of a what is risk management, what are the objectives of risk management, and what are the benefits of the risk management. So from tomorrow's class onwards, I will be explaining the tools of the risk management. What are the tools are used in the risk management, and then we will move with the process of risk management. We'll be continuously going through the classes these days. Please, I once again I request you that go through every PPT, make your short notes, and keep it ready. Prepare now itself for the exams.